Which 5 positions do women actually love? Men's sexual health. Most men think they know what positions women like. But if that were true, why are there 30-year-old men who feel completely lost when entering into lovemaking? Or why are there marriages lasting 18 years where couples share a bed but have completely lost their physical connection? The harsh truth is, the 2 positions you see most commonly in films are often what women secretly hate the most. Mechanically applying those images is not only ineffective, but actually pushes you and your partner further apart. But the good news is, you don't need advanced skills or an athlete's stamina to change this. You'll be surprised to know that just a small adjustment, like gently closing your knees or tilting your hips forward, can completely transform the sensation from uncomfortable to euphoric. Let's dive into the details right now to reclaim the confidence you deserve. Have you ever wondered why, despite trying your hardest, sweating profusely, even attempting the most difficult positions learned from films, does your woman still lie there with a forced smile and hasn't truly reached the peak? That feeling is truly terrible, isn't it? It makes us men torment ourselves, wondering if we're not fit enough or if our tool has problems. But my friend, let me tell you a truth to lift this burden. The fault doesn't lie in your strength. The fault lies in the wrong map that films have given us. We're often obsessed with vigorous thrusting, powerful internal impacts, and believe that's the key. But biological reality is much more cruel. If you only focus on going deep while forgetting the outside, it's like trying to boil a kettle of water but forgetting to turn on the heat. She may feel pressure, even pain, but euphoria will remain a distant dream. This mismatch prolonged not only kills her emotions, but also turns your intimate moments into a tiring obligation, lacking connection. So, how do we change the game tonight? Before we go into detail on each position, I want you to engrave a golden principle that anatomical science has proven. This is the real treasure map. A woman's complete pleasure never stands on one leg. It needs 2 solid pillars to exist simultaneously. Internal pillar, the foundation. This involves creating just the right amount of pressure, warm fullness to maintain steady blood flow to the central area. It requires rhythm, not violence. External pillar, the spark. This is the crucial element that most men forget. It's continuous, uninterrupted stimulation to the sensitive anchor point in front. The most authoritative medical studies all point out that only a very small percentage of women can finish through internal movement alone. The vast majority absolutely need the synergy of both. When you combine these 2 elements simultaneously, you not only help her easily achieve explosive emotion, but also make that experience last longer and many times more intense. Therefore, the 5 winning positions I'm about to share with you aren't flashy tricks for performance. They are scientific tools to help you master both internal and external areas at the same time, naturally and emotionally. Position #5, the choice of the silent hero. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. There are days when you come home from work, your back aches, your mind is stressed, and your whole body is worn out. You want to be close to your woman, but the thought of performing acrobatic moves or using strength like an Olympic athlete makes you hesitate. Many men fear that if they don't thrust vigorously, don't constantly change positions, they'll be seen as lazy or weak. You force yourself to perform. But what's the result? A forced, exhausting lovemaking session lacking subtlety. And worse, when you're tired, you often lose control of rhythm, making her experience disappointing too. Don't turn the bedroom into a gym. Sometimes gentleness brings greater power than you think. This is when position #5, spooning, shines. Never underestimate it as a position for the lazy. In reality, this is the position of peak connection. Why do women love it so much? Because your pelvises are parallel, it completely eliminates hard, painful impacts. It provides a feeling of being embraced, safe, and most importantly, it frees up your hands. Combat tips to elevate this position. Don't just lie there. Apply the alignment rule. The divine pillow. Place a small pillow between her knees. Sounds simple, right? But that pillow will help her hips open at the perfect angle, aligning with you, making the connection smoother and more snug than ever. Change rhythm. Instead of using pushing force back and forth, which drains your energy, use the rocking technique. Press your body tight against her back and use your hips to gently grind and glide. Secret weapon. Since your hands are free, reach around to the front. The combination of gentle, internal rocking rhythm and external hand stimulation is the perfect combo that makes her melt while you're still completely relaxed. This is proof that making love smart always beats just using force hard. Position #4. The emotional bridge. There are phases in a relationship when, even though you're physically very close, you still feel an invisible wall separating you. You feel lonely right in the middle of your own lovemaking. Everything seems to become routine, a series of mechanical movements repeated over and over, lacking the fire, lacking the deep understanding you both once had. When that feeling of distance hits, our male instinct is usually to try to compensate with strength. You think if you do it harder, faster, or try more complex positions, you'll pull her back. But my friend, connection doesn't come from piston speed. When her mind is drifting elsewhere, your vigorous effort only makes her feel bothered, even uncomfortable. True pleasure cannot sprout on ground of haste and thoughtlessness. What she needs now isn't a machine, but your complete presence. That's why position #4, seated edge, face to face, is considered the savior for souls that are out of sync. Sit at the edge of the bed or a sturdy chair, let her sit facing you and embrace you. Why is this position so powerful? Because it forces you both to look into each other's eyes. Science has proven that when you maintain eye contact and whisper loving words, the brain releases oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and trust. This very catalyst will make every touch 1,000 times more electric. Clinical tips to optimize sensation. In this position, don't use the old thinking of pull and push. It will interrupt the connection. Instead, think of the roll and press technique. Hold the pelvis base tight. Keep your pubic bone always pressed against and touching her. Don't separate. Circular motion. Use your hips to create small, grinding, slow circles. Imagine you're trying to transfer your warmth to her through that point of contact. When you master this rolling technique combined with deep eye contact, you'll see her melt in your hands faster than any previous forceful efforts. Position #3, the art of staying flat. Let's be straight with each other about this. When you hear missionary, what word appears in your head? Is it boring? Basic? Or only use when you've run out of ideas? Many men underestimate this position. They think it's just the default position for people lacking creativity. Because of that thinking, they perform it superficially or turn it into a tedious push-up exercise. The biggest mistake 90% of men make here is turning themselves into a piston. You focus on in and out, pulling out far, then thrusting in hard. You think the harder the force, the more she likes it. But the harsh truth is, for women, that piston type of movement often interrupts emotion. Every time you pull out far, it's once the connection is broken. She doesn't feel intimacy, only pure friction. You're working hard, sweating, but completely missing the golden point of euphoria. It's time to redefine missionary. This is actually the world's best position for precise angle adjustment and observing every small change on her face. To transform it from boring to addictive, change your mindset with this everyday image, the iron. Don't think about thrusting. Imagine you're trying to flatten a wrinkle on the bedsheet with your hips. Movement. Instead of bouncing up and down, use your hips to press. Gently glide down onto the mattress. It's a deep, firm, and slow pressure. Priceless, clinical tip. Place a small pillow under her hips. This isn't just for comfort, it helps raise her pelvis, creating a perfect tilted angle to receive you. Press technique. At the end of each stroke, don't rush to pull out. Press your body forward and hold for 1 second. That very 1 second of pressing and gliding, combined with the tilt angle from the pillow, will create continuous stimulation to the most sensitive external area. It's the subtlety that no vigorous force can replace. Position #2, when the queen takes the wheel. Gentlemen, let's confess. When she proactively climbs on top, what's the first thought that pops into your head? Is it, great break time? You relax your whole body, hands loose or behind your head, and enjoy not having to do anything. You think you're giving her control, letting her freely do what she likes. But here's the truth that might shock you. Your excessive relaxation may be killing her emotion. When you lie still like a log, she not only feels lonely, but also has to bear all the physical pressure. Imagine she has to perform a continuous squat exercise in the gym without support. Leg fatigue, shortness of breath, and quick exhaustion. When muscles speak up, pleasure shuts down. She'll stop not because she finished, but because she's too tired. And lovemaking ends in disappointment for both. So what's the solution? Position #2. Woman on top is when you get spinal rest, but your hands and mindset must work at full capacity. 1. Male perspective. The support role. Don't lie still. Place both hands firmly on her hips. This is an absolute scoring action. It helps you control the rhythm of play without draining energy. More importantly, you become a support point, helping bear her body weight. You help her be less tired, meaning the fun will last longer. Instead of letting her bob up and down like a piston, his movement often loses necessary friction. Whisper and guide her. Try rotating your hips in circles. Think about circles and curves. Circular rotating motion helps keep your pubic bone continuously connected with her golden point in front. 3. Rescuing the legs. The fatigue fix. If you see her starting to slow down due to knee fatigue, don't let the fun die. Immediately suggest the one-leg squat technique. Tell her to plant one foot on the mattress, the other leg still kneeling. This position completely changes the muscle group bearing the load, helping her regain strength immediately without stopping, while creating a new and much more interesting angle of contact. Position Hasson from thoughtless to euphoric. We've arrived at Position Hasson, the king of all male rankings. Rear entry from behind position. But sit down and be honest with each other a bit. Why in confidential surveys do so many women confess they secretly hate this position, even though their husbands are extremely fond of it? There's a huge mismatch here. Men love it for the view and depth. But for women, if done by instinct, this is often the most uncomfortable position, both physically and mentally. Put yourself in her position. When you're behind, eye contact disappears. She doesn't see your expression, doesn't receive your smile or reassuring gaze. If you perform it mechanically, vigorous, fast, and hard in the film style, what will she feel? The feeling of being abandoned. She feels more like a tool than a beloved partner. Physically, the traditional position with knees wide open often makes penetration too deep and brutal, jab, causing painful pressure instead of pleasure. The combination of physical pain and emotional loneliness is why she wants to end this as quickly as possible. But don't rush to cross it off the list. With just these 2 small adjustments, you'll turn it into both of your favorite position. 1. The narrow knees technique, the narrow base. This is the most important clinical tip. Tell her to close her knees together a bit, narrow knees, and tilt her hips slightly forward. Why? When knees close, the pelvic structure changes, creating a much more naturally snug embrace. Now, change your movement mindset. Think of the glide motion, gently gliding along the sensitive walls instead of the jab motion that causes pain. 2. The emotional connection thread. Don't let her feel invisible. You have 2 hands. Use them as an apology for the lack of eye contact. First hand. Must reach around to the front to provide external stimulation. Pillar #2 of pleasure. Second hand. Important. Hold her hand, intertwine fingers, or caress her bare back, run through her hair. That simple hand-holding action sends a powerful message. I'm still here, right beside you, cherishing and connecting with you. When she feels safe and cared for, pleasure truly explodes. The 2 positions to absolutely avoid. We've talked about what to do. Now let's talk about what never to do, unless you want to end the evening with an ice pack. Let's be honest. Films have poisoned us men with scenes that look very artistic but are completely anti-scientific. First is standing in the shower position. On screen, it's the peak of wet romance. But physical reality is much more cruel. Water is enemy number 1 of natural lubrication. Instead of smooth, gentle feeling, you'll face friction squeaking like rubber rubbing together. Not a pleasant experience at all. Not to mention, the slippery floor turns the euphoric moment into a potential accident, where you have to strain to keep balance instead of enjoying. Second is the acrobatic, legs folded to ears type position. Unless your partner is a professional yoga athlete. Otherwise, forcing the body into this position usually brings more back pain and hip muscle tension than pleasure. The penetration angle becomes too direct and too fast, losing the necessary subtlety. Don't turn the bedroom into a circus stage. With bathroom. If you want the romantic atmosphere of steam, do it on a sturdy chair or step out of the direct water stream. With angles. Forget about folding and pressing legs. Just place a pillow under her tailbone. That small pillow will open the pelvic angle naturally, safely, and 1,000 times more comfortably than those risky acrobatic moves. The 4 golden rules, your master key. We've gone through a lot of knowledge about angles and techniques. I know, right now you may be feeling a bit overwhelmed. You worry, how can I remember how many degrees to tilt hips or where to place hands when emotions are surging? Don't worry. Perfection doesn't lie in memorizing a textbook right in bed. The obsession with doing the technique right sometimes is actually the enemy killing your natural emotion. If you enter the bedroom tonight with the mindset of someone taking a test, forcing yourself to perform new positions, you'll lose the most important thing: connection. A man busy calculating angles will become distant. And women, they're extremely sensitive to that distance. So, forget all the complexities. I just want you to remember these 4 golden rules. The master key for all positions: breathe together, the sync. Don't rush into battle. Spend the first 30 seconds synchronizing breathing. When breath becomes one, the nervous system relaxes, and that's when the body is ready to receive the deepest pleasure. Small movements, micro movements. Abandon the habit of pull out, thrust in continuously. Remember the mantra: rock and press. Small movements, continuous pressing and grinding will maintain the flame of pleasure instead of extinguishing it, then rekindling from the start. Use pillow, the tool. Don't consider the pillow as weakness. It's the tool of a true professional to adjust angles precisely to the millimeter without wasting energy. Always keep one hand in front, the decider. This is the deciding factor. Whatever you do, never let her be lonely. External stimulation is the guaranteed ticket to her euphoria. And finally, I know. I've read the thoughts of many of you in the comments. You're wondering, Doctor, what about the 69 position? Where's the legendary oral sex technique? I haven't forgotten it all. But that's a completely different school of art, requiring subtlety, hygiene, and skillful tongue technique that can't be rushed in a few minutes. It deserves to be a separate topic. If you want me to make a detailed, comprehensive instructional video about 69 and oral sex, leave a comment with the number 69 right below. If we get enough requests, I promise that will be our next video. Tonight, don't try to perform. Listen, align, and connect. Before you turn off this video, I don't want you to just nod and let the knowledge slip away. If you want tonight to truly be different, here are 3 specific actions you need to take right now. Action 1. Choose just one thing. Don't be greedy trying all 5 positions. It will turn lovemaking into a chaotic workout. Choose exactly one position you're most confident in and focus on doing the alignment technique I just showed really well. Action 2. Prepare your weapons right now. Don't wait until climax to go looking. Put 2 pillows on the bed right now. This small preparation shows you're a refined man. Action 3, most important, subscribe to the channel now. As I promised, next week's video will be an extremely anticipated topic: 69 technique and oral sex. This is sensitive content that goes very deep into technical details that I can't share publicly everywhere. Therefore, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Don't let the YouTube algorithm make you lose that important video. Don't just make love, create connection.